Top of the morning to you laddies, my name is Markiplier, and today we are going to be ranking every single terror in Terrors of Nowhere. That's right, all, 199, I guess, 199 terrors. I did not make this tier list, it was made by someone on the server's Discord. The name is Acoustic. It'll be in the description, probably. Okay, now there are two main things that I am ranking this tier list based on. First is the difficulty factor, because if a terror is so easy, it's kind of boring, which brings us to the second main factor, which is fun. Now the first thing I should probably do is actually label these tiers, so we're gonna go... Alright, so I've labeled the tiers here. They're not very intricate, but we got best, we've got great, we've got good, we've got boring, and we've got pain. Now, the bottom tier is basically terrors that you get, and you just kind of have to decide if you want to respawn or have to endure what you're about to go through. So let's get started. Now, starting off really strong here, we have Huggy. So, there's an interesting thing about Huggy. Ever since the update, there have been just a few minor errors when it comes to loading the terrors. And if there ever is, assuming it's not an alternate round, or an unbound, the terror is going to default to Huggy. So, if you've been seeing a lot of Huggies, now you know why. And it's kind of left a bad stain on Huggy's image. But I wouldn't really put him in the pain tier. No, I actually would. So, next we have the Corrupted Toys. I think the Corrupted Toys are just kind of boring. They're an easy terror. They're a good introduction to just, like, more than one terror in one terror. But there isn't much going on for them. Next we have Corrupted SpongeBob. Again, he's kind of on the same tier as them. He's a line-of-sight terror, but, like, not really a line-of-sight terror. Even if you get in his line of sight, you can still outrun him with quite a few things. Next we have Specimen... Probably Specimen 8. I think this one's Specimen 8. I always mix them up. It's definitely Specimen 8. He used to be pretty boring, because he would just kind of slowly wander around the map. He could go through walls, but they did update him a little bit, and he has some... His voice lines kind of get funny when you hear them 10 million times. You know, just looking at this, I might need to put, like, another tier in between, but we'll get to that. So, she's boring, but she's almost too boring. Like, she's so easy that she's kind of just pain. You get her, and at least it's a free win. You know, at least it's a free win. I'll give it that. It's a free win. Huggy potentially is not a free win, but her is almost impossible not to win against. Tails Doll, I think Tails Doll is good. He's almost a bit too fast, and he really makes it hard to see in his second little rage mode. But, you know, not much to say. He's alright. Black Sun. Alright, next we have AccuBall, who... I mean, he genuinely looks like he's about to explode or something. Okay. Okay, you know what? I actually just looked at AccuBall, and it gave me another terror to, another tier, right? And that is annoying. Not the worst thing, they're at least entertaining, but they can be really annoying. And I think that's AccuBall. He just slanders you the entire time. Next we have Aoni. They did rework him, but they literally just, like, changed his animation and kind of added a walking sound, which, you know, still kind of boring to play against. More boring than her? Definitely not. I'll put him at, like, the top of boring, at least for now. Now we have, Torn Shadow. Now, I actually really like Torn Shadow. She is easy, but she's, like, a fun easy terror. And if you stun her enough times, it's kind of funny. So, I think she's actually pretty great. Alright, next we have Censored. I honestly think Censored is a bit annoying. That might upset a few people that I know, but Censored is just... Every time he gets a kill, he spawns a minion, and every time he gets a kill, he, for some reason, turns into a giant Censored block, which can do damage if you're looking at him. Next we have White Knight. I think White Knight's good. And you know, White Knight actually reminded me about something. I'm also going to semi-factor in how these terrors play with other terrors on Bloodbath. And White Knight used to be a terror that you couldn't get on Bloodbath. But now you can. And granted, he spawns less Apostles, but he still does his chip damage the exact same. which to be honest was always kind of the bigger problem. His apostles are so easy to just run through if you're fast enough, or just never get hit by. His chip damage though, that can screw you over. So you know what? Just because of that, I'm putting him in good and not great. Next we have, what? Wait, what is this? I believe this is Arbiter. I've never actually looked at Arbiter's icon, but it does look like Arbiter. Arbiter can be great. Sometimes he can be boring, but his rounds can be chaotic, and they're fun. So next we have Specimen 5. I mean, probably, it's not very descriptive. So Specimen 5 was a replacement for one of the old terrors. I can't remember which. I think it was Squidward. I believe he's in Squidward's spot. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't know why he does the screen distortion effect. So, kind of just boring. Alright, next we have Purple Guy. Now, I think Purple Guy's great. He is... Unlike other terrorists, he doesn't sort of target who's in front of him. He hard targets one person. And if he realizes they're faster than him, he'll just say, alright, screw you then, you live. I'm gonna go kill someone else. And I think that's really great. Now we have Spongefly Swarm. Now we have Hush. Next we have Mope. I think Mope's great. Actually, I'm gonna drop him down to good because the update changed it. So if you get him on a Bloodbath, Bloodbath's basically over. So next, what the frick? What is this? Is this Saw Runner? I mean, it looks like he's holding a saw. Do I need to say more? Among Us. Now, I don't need to explain why Among Us is great. Alright, next we have Starved plus Furnace. It's not really just Starved anymore. So, for some reason, Starved got a massive upgrade. He now just has Furnace with him. And granted, it's a heavily nerfed Furnace. You know, it's not the same. It can be stunned. And it's probably slower. It might not actually be slower. I have no idea. Now we have the Painter. Now, surprisingly, might be controversial take. I think the Painter is actually pretty good. I don't think he's boring. Because he's supposed to be, like, an easy terror. He's like the easy terror. Now we have the Guidance. Guidance, I think, is just fine. Alright, now we have 939. As also known as, or I guess in-game known as, With Many Voices. And they could actually be pretty fun sometimes. I wouldn't really say they're boring. Depends on the map. That's another big factor, is what map do you get these terrors on. Now we have Nextbots. I think Nextbots are great. Harvest is boring. I'm trying to like think of a thorough explanation for every one of these terrors, but we still got quite a ways to go. So I think if they're really just not that interesting, I'm just gonna plop them down. Like Smile Ghost. Now we have Carol Corpse. Again, now we have MX. So, the replacement for Mario, who used to be just nothing, really, and they actually made him interesting. He has a little gimmick where if you go up to him at the start, he can give you something. Apparently, there's a rare achievement for it, but I'm honestly convinced I'm just being gaslit into believing that, because I don't see it anywhere. Now you have Big Bird. I hate, screw Big Bird. Dev Bites, I think Dev Bites are great. Okay, now we have Luigi Dolls, and V2, kind of just annoying. We might just start speedrunning these last, I would say few normals, but I don't even think we got halfway through the list. Wooded Bonnie, boring. The boys, we don't need to talk about the boys here. Something Wicked is annoying. Peak, okay, I don't know what it is. Some maps just don't spawn lockers, and you can't convince me that I just missed them. And some maps, like, only spawn one locker. Now we have Sonic, no longer called Faker for some reason. I don't know why. He just only says Sonic. Bad Batter. Okay, I actually do want to talk about this one. So I used to hate Bad Batter, mainly because someone I knew also hates Bad Batter. But the more I go against him, and the more I know, the more I start to like him among the line of sight terrors. He's one of the few that can actually be stunned. But he's also one of the few that doesn't have any kind of audio cue, and still gives like a map, a vision impairment. So, I honestly think he's kind of good. I kind of like Bad Batter. Now we have Cygnus. Cygnus is just boring. Now we have Mirror. Mirror's just kind of funny. Now we have Legs. Actually, again, Legs and Bad Batter are probably two of my favorite line of sight terrors. At least with these guys, you can stun them. Now we have Mona and the Mountain. So she used to be an alternate, and then she became not an alternate, and they changed literally nothing. She just does the same thing, and it's kind of annoying. Now Justin Bird can be fun because you could just gamble your life away and say like, hey, if he doesn't kill me, I have nothing to say. Now we have, well, this image here just shows a wheelchair, but this is Slender Man, also known as Slendy Wheels. So this is interesting. Actually, let me check. So it would appear that this list does not include variants. That's a lie, it does include variants. Okay, so this is just Slender Man. So just Slender Man's kind of boring, and not much else. Molochild, I think Molochild is, personally, my favorite terror in the game. I'm not putting it in best, because I feel like objectively, it just, he doesn't do that much. But he's funny, he has a good theme, has a good model, and actual interesting chase mechanic, where it's not just run in a straight line, you actually want to circle around a little bit. So Guardian Goers, here's the thing. On their own, I think they're good. They're a good introduction to group terrors. You get them in a bloodbath, and they're annoying. So, I'm putting them at the bottom of good, just because of that. Now we have Don't Touch Me. Specimen 2. So now we have the Lifebringer. Not sure what happened, but he no longer seems to bring life, and any life he does bring seems to be a bit defective and just stands in place and then dies. Now we have the Pale Association. I like the Pale Association. Now we have the Helicopter. I also like the Helicopter. Now we have TBH. I like TBH. Now we have Doombox. I don't like Doombox. What the frick? What is this? Is this Christian Brutal Sniper? So Nosk. Frick Nosk. Screw Nosk. This is a Prukian cop? Whatever his name is. He's just boring. Now, I think I gotta do a great service to every sealed sword user and just put him in pain. Wario. I think Wario is... He's kind of pain. And I'm mainly putting him in pain because of Bloodbaths, because you can't reliably have him chase you. Oh yeah, Shinto. Or, as some people say, shit no. I think they're annoying. Okay, now here's the real test. Is this security or is this prisoner? Or, wait, no, this is security. Wait, actually, what terror is this? I'm trying to, like... What terror is this? What are these things? Nah, I got nothing. We're just gonna move on to Bacteria. It's just kind of annoying. God, there are so many... There are so many normal terror stuff. Okay, I'm actually speedrunning through the last ones. I'm not saying anything. I'm not giving any explanations. We're just ranking them. Okay, so I've reached a point where I genuinely am struggling to recognize these icons. Oh! Oh, it's the frickin' Miku... Blah, 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 blah. Oh! I was so I thought this was like a road? This was like the sun. This was a okay, no, I see it now. Holy now, we've solved that dilemma. That is all the normal terrors. So, let me just be clear. When I put something in the annoying, I don't think it's bad. It's just, it's like, okay, we have to deal with this. That's fine. But, so starting off very strong with probably the best terror in the game, the Fetty's alternate. What an amazing, incredible terror. Just absolutely beautiful. Okay, seriously though, they actually are funny. I mean, they're, for an alternate, they're pretty easy, but you need easy alternates in order to make the hard ones stand out. And at least it's not boring, like an alternate that we will get to. So I think they're good. TBH Spy, again, easy alternate, but again, I said again like 5 times. You need some alternates to be easy, and he's one of the better easy ones. Tragedy, on the other hand, is a little bit of a tragedy. Just kind of boring. If you have a stun weapon, he's basically free. Voidwalker, annoying. You get slowed so much. And if you get slowed and he chases you, you're dead. You can stun him for a long time. Longer than you would ever expect to stun an alternate for. But you can stun him. Now we have, well, just pop that right down. It kind of ruins the order. Oh, yeah, it fits. It's right underneath him. So Restless Creator, a bit like Saku the Ripper, is sort of meant to just be hard for the sake of being hard. The hardest thing that it will affect, though, is your frames. So, for that reason, I think it just kind of fits the annoying. You don't get a reward for beating it, aside from an achievement. Now we have, alternate that I still somehow have not lived, because I always get teleported into a freaking Apollo. Now you have Joy. So I've gone up against let me say this. I've actually, like, tried against Joy, like, twice. One time I got to 50 seconds. Not in my own lobby or anything, but there surprisingly is, like, a strategy to beat him. You just have to know how to position yourself and get any map that's round. Now we have Mr. Mega. Again, he's just too easy. He makes a little funny laugh. Ha 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 ha. Just for the meme potential, it's great. It's fantastic. I love it. Now I have Knight and Torin. Kind of boring. Plays a really sad song. Of course, this isn't the Chimera variant or anything. Now I have the Decayed Sponge. So, as an alternate, he's not that bad. He is a major upgrade to the Decayed Sponge. He is the Decayed Sponge, you idiot. But again, he gets the Huggy treatment because he is now the default terror for alternates if something goes wrong. So, when I got a Roblander point, like it had Roblander's point value, on Heaven as Decayed Sponge, I started to understand the hatred for him. Parhelion. So I've seen Parhelion twice. Once was on Backrooms, and the other was on Snowfield. So, as you know, I beat him both times, like, just freaking easily. He's a really easy terror. What alternate is this? I feel like I would recognize it. This isn't the same icon I'm used to. This is the Simon Says terror, who I think is really good. Bliss. Now, Bliss is really good, but out of the boss tier terrors, she's probably the easiest. I actually like Glaggle Gang. Like, having a big group care, it's chaos. But it's good chaos. You know, there is such thing as good chaos here. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm sorry. Not you, though. This terror makes me bump the other alternates up. Why is this an alternate? You remove some other alternates. You move Mona and the Mountain to a normal tier. But freaking Whiteface. I mean, okay. Well, he makes the sounds, so I think I'm putting it annoying. Good luck surviving this terror. So now we have Convict Squad. Another terror I haven't survived. And a terror I have a slight problem with. If you stun them, the round's basically lost. But why? But why did they do that, though? Just make them not stunnable. Why make it so someone can go and shoot them and make the round just get in the annoying tier? There you go. What did I just get back there? Okay. And we finally arrived at our first best tier terror. Fusion Pilot is a little bit of an urban legend. It's a little bit like a Voldemort situation. You say Fusion Pilot, people give you funny looks. Because everybody's trying to get Fusion Pilot. Everyone wants to beat Fusion Pilot. So, Fusion Pilot is, you get him on a small map, you're dead. You get him on a bad map, you're dead, right? But if you get him on a good map, and you have a regen core, if you're set up for them, losing is mainly based on how you play. Now we have Dev Maulers. So Dev Maulers are literally just Mauler Child, but there's 4 of them, and they get slightly faster. So, remember Convict Squad? Remember how I said stunning them causes problems? Yeah, this terror too. But why, though? But why? Just make them unstunnable. I have Roblander. Again, Roblander, I think, is also a best tier. Now, compared to Fusion Pilot, is he fair? I mean, not really. But he has counterplay. You bring a teleporter, and you guarantee yourself at least one more chance. You bring something like a bloody teleporter, and assuming you get somewhat lucky, you guarantee yourself like 3 more chances. You bring a Thorn Hacker, and you position yourself right, you can buy quite a lot of time. Maxwell again, so item specific, much like Fusion Pilot, but there is counterplay to ensure that, assuming you're on a decent enough map, people will survive. Is this Walls? I think this is Witch. I like to call her Witch because I just can't pronounce the actual name. I actually like Witch. Saki the Ripper is the highest tier terror in the game. Not that tiers really mean anything, but she is a terror that is designed to be unfair. Unlike every other terror in the game who have some kind of counterplay, she's basically just luck. But I still think she's good because she's not trying to be fair. Alright, now I'm not going to pronounce this name, because last time I tried to, someone made fun of me and it hurt my feelings. So we're just going to call him Star of Squidward. Who ever since Star of Changes, I think is just a better, basically just red mist, but blue. Alright, now try not to touch me. So much like Don't Touch Me, we're gonna, again, comfortably fit him underneath. So much like Don't Touch Me, his survival is highly based on how other people respond. Now we have the observation. Again, I'm almost tempted to put him in best, but I'm just gonna put him in great, and that's because his paralysis feels really cheap, because he can teleport. If he didn't teleport, it would feel better, but he literally just paralyzes you for 10 seconds, and then will teleport next to you. I'm not sure it's meant to happen, but it can happen, and for that reason, I'm only putting him in great. He has a lot going on, and I like terrors that have a lot going on that isn't just like insta-kill. Starting with Psychosis, the moon, the Mystic Moon. So, Mystic Moon is always just fun. Definitely RNG heavy, but again, chaos in this game is like the main appeal of the game to me. So I'm putting him in the gray tier. Virus is potentially the only moon who has like a definite strategy against him. He's literally a fight. You have Stunner, stun him, and you get him down to 80 seconds. I have Twilight. Twilight is definitely... It's definitely the weakest of the moons. It's the easiest. And it just kind of became a bit annoying ever since he just started spamming his slow attack. But other than that, it's definitely easier now. I don't think he does laser beams anymore. I don't know if he's broken or not. It's hard to tell, but compared to the other moons, he's not as good. And Solstice, again, Solstice is by far the most RNG heavy, because if you're trying to go for the sync item or the all skill achievement, you have no counterplay if it targets you. You teleport and probably will just go right after you. I have the Meatball Man. So, I would put him in annoying, but since the update, there's actually counterplay if you don't have a speed item, and that is to stun the door enough times to open it. Other than that, he's just kind of, you know, fun to get every now and then. He's really rare, so he doesn't clog anything. Now we have Cold Nights. It's a terror that you don't need to survive to get the achievement for. You just get them. And what's really cool about them is they have player footstep sounds, which I actually really like. Having player footstep sounds makes them, like, genuinely freaky. I have Baldy. Baldy's pretty fun. He talks a bit, does some stuff. Alright, now we're on to the two cracked variants. There's only two. One is TBH Sans, who, my boy, got an upgrade. And then we have Epic Bonnie, who's just... So now we have the Midnight variant of Slenderman. He's not in a wheelchair, that is the only difference, so... It's anything, it's actually less interesting than the normal Slenderman. Okay, now we have Monarch. Monarch got a bit of an upgrade. You know, a tiny change in the final update. That is that he's not even like a midnight thing anymore. He's just his own round. And I'm debating between best and great. Biggest problem is, you get to 60 seconds, no one has a stun, and you're just dead. Chimera, again, actually has a reward now, which I definitely think bumps it up quite a bit. And it's interesting to fight. Not much more to say there. We have Inverted Roblander, who, again, literally just Roblander. Okay, he's not literally just Roblander, I think he does do slightly different things. He always does the Interloper kill, so that's a guaranteed way to get the Interloper achievement. And I think he does a little bit different things. And now finally we have the variants. So we're just gonna put these two in here, because I've never seen them. And Hungry Home Invader is the best terror in Terrors of Nowhere, and that is the tier list, ladies and gentlemen. Every other terror is actually trash tier, but Hungry Home Invader is #1. Okay, so there's actually one thing. I kind of forgot this tier existed when ranking some of these. I think Blood Moon and Solstice are honestly the best. At least, again, mainly my opinion here, just based on how fun I find them. Alright, so just looking at this, the only thing I do have a problem with is the fact that I call this annoying tier. Which isn't exactly a positive thing compared to boring. Like, would you rather go against something that's boring or annoying? So we're changing this to meh. Like, they're fine. They're fine terrors. They're fun to go against. Again, I am going to leave a link to this tier list in the description, so feel free to make your own. Again, if anything's different, you are wrong. Why did I make this video?